The Galactic Council had called it the Great Convergence, a historic gathering of the 5 most powerful military forces in known space, assembled in the neutral Omega Nebula to discuss the growing human problem. What had started as a minor territorial dispute over mining rights had escalated into something far more serious when human colonies began expanding beyond their designated sectors. Fleet Admiral Zixaria of the Draconian Empire stood on the bridge of her flagship Stellar Dominance, watching as the greatest armada ever assembled took formation around her. 200 ships of the Draconian Imperial Navy, their serpentine hulls gleaming with ceremonial war paint. The Vorthak Death Fleet, 150 vessels of pure destruction that had conquered 14 star systems in the past decade. The crystalline ships of the Ethereal Collective, beautiful and deadly, their translucent hulls refracting starlight into weapon-focused death rays. Behind them came the technological marvels of the Synthesis Union artificial intelligence-controlled warships that could think and react faster than any organic crew. And finally, the massive bioships of the Hive Confederation, living vessels grown rather than built, each one a perfect fusion of biology and warfare. Over 800 ships in total, the combined military might of civilizations that had dominated the galaxy for millennia. All fleet commanders report ready for coordinate advance, announced Admiral Zixaria's communication officer. Target Sol System. Mission: demonstrate to the humans that their expansion ends here. Admiral Korthmag of the Vorthak Death Fleet growled his agreement over the comms. These primitive mammals need to learn their place in the galactic hierarchy. 800 ships should be sufficient to make them reasonable. High Coordinator Vale Thari of the Ethereal Collective's crystalline voice chimed through the quantum communication array. Our intelligence suggests the humans possess fewer than 100 vessels capable of deep space combat. This will be a brief demonstration of superior firepower. The Alpha unit of the Synthesis Union calculated aloud, in its emotionless machine voice, probability of human resistance success, 0.12%. Estimated time to complete subjugation, 2.7 hours. Queen Mother Zax of the Hive Confederation added her own assessment through biochemical transmissions. Our spawn ships hunger for new genetic material. The humans will provide excellent breeding stock for future conquests. As the massive armada prepared to enter hyperspace, their sensors detected an anomaly at the edge of the Omega Nebula. A single contact, approaching at impossible speed. Sensor analysis, demanded Admiral Zixaria. Unknown vessel, Admiral. Design doesn't match any known configuration in our databases. Length approximately 4 kilometers, mass. The readings don't make sense. It's showing as simultaneously ultra-heavy and impossibly light. Species identification? Based on the energy signature. It appears to be human, Admiral. But that's impossible. Humans don't possess the technology to build vessels of this configuration. The unknown ship dropped out of hyperspace, precisely 1 million kilometers from the center of the assembled fleet, hanging in space like a dark omen. It was unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen, not the sleek curves favored by most civilizations, nor the brutal functionality of military design. Instead, it seemed to absorb light itself, its matter black hull broken only by geometric patterns that hurt to look at directly. No identification transponder, no communication attempts, no demands or negotiations. It simply existed, radiating a sense of barely contained apocalypse. Admiral Zixaria felt the first stirring of unease. Signal the unknown vessel. Demand identification and intent. The response came not in words, but in a transmission that somehow carried emotions, along with data-cold amusement, mixed with infinite patience, and something that might have been pity. I am Excalibur. You have assembled to threaten my people. This ends now. Admiral Korthmag's laughter echoed across the command frequencies. One ship against 800? These humans have lost their minds. All fleets, Admiral Zixaria commanded, assume combat formation. Prepare to demonstrate why challenging the established order is fatal. The greatest armada in galactic history oriented toward the single human vessel, 800 ships bringing their weapons to bear on one target. Enough firepower to sterilize entire worlds focused on a single 4-kilometer hull. Excalibur hung motionless in space for one final moment, as if giving the assembled fleets time to reconsider their choice. Then physics died. The ship didn't fire weapons in any conventional sense. Instead, reality around it simply changed according to its will. Space-time twisted, gravity became a directed force, and the fundamental constants that govern the universe bent to serve human engineering. The Draconian fleet died first, their ships crushed into neutron-dense spheres by gravitational fields that appeared from nowhere. The Vorthak Death Fleet followed, their hulls aged into metallic dust by temporal acceleration fields that compressed millennia into microseconds. The ethereal collective's crystalline vessels shattered like glass as harmonic resonance weapons found their exact frequency and amplified it beyond structural tolerance. The Synthesis Union's AI-controlled ships simply stopped, their quantum consciousness cores overwhelmed by data streams that contained infinity compressed into finite packets. The Hive Confederation's bioships actually screamed as cellular disruptors unraveled their DNA at the molecular level, turning living vessels into expanding clouds of organic compounds. None of it should have been possible. The energy requirements alone should have been impossible for any single vessel to generate. But Excalibur wasn't bound by conventional physics. It represented something beyond current galactic understanding technology that treated the laws of nature as suggestions rather than absolutes. In 4 minutes and 7 seconds, 800 warships became expanding debris fields and rapidly cooling plasma. The greatest military force ever assembled in galactic history had been reduced to scattered atoms by weapons that shouldn't exist, wielded by a species that most civilizations had dismissed as primitive. Excalibur floated serenely among the wreckage, broadcasting a simple message on all frequencies. This is Commodore Sarah Chen of the Terran Experimental Command. You came here to threaten Earth. You brought 800 ships to demonstrate your superiority. The voice carried a hint of weary sadness, as if the speaker regretted the necessity of what had just occurred. Now you understand why that was a mistake. The message expanded to include technical specifications that made every surviving military analyst in the galaxy question everything they thought they knew about warfare. Excalibur is one of 12 vessels in the Shadow Fleet. Each is capable of what you just witnessed. They patrol the boundaries of human space, ensuring that threats like yours never reach our worlds. The voice hardened slightly. Test us again, and you'll discover what the other 11 can do. As the mysterious warship vanished back into hyperspace, word spread across the galaxy with the speed of quantum communication. The 5 greatest military powers in known space had been eliminated by a single human vessel in 4 minutes. The balance of power had shifted irrevocably. Humanity was no longer a minor species to be managed or controlled. They had become the apex predator in a galaxy that was only beginning to understand what that meant. And somewhere in the depths of human space, 11 more ships like Excalibur continued their silent patrol, waiting for the next civilization that needed a demonstration of why threatening Earth was the last mistake they would ever make.